Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. March 6, 2019, the Return on Bribes edition. First up, we have our first guilty plea in the college admissions scandal with former co-chair of Wilkie-Farr and Gallagher, one of the nation's top law firms, pleading guilty to paying $75,000 to a fixer to get his daughter in to have his daughter's ACT entrance exam corrected. The FBI caught him on a wiretap. Next up, Schlumberger is back in the news, and not for good news. The world's largest oil field service company reveals a federal inquiry which began last month, at least, when U.S. authorities interviewed a Schlumberger employee into possible sanctions violations 4 years after the company was fined $230 million for trading with Iran and Sudan. This was related to additional sanctions by Schlumberger. So this is definitely one we're going to have to continue to watch going forward. Next, for those who do not read the Financial Times on Saturday, you really should. It's one of the top Saturday editions around. But several times during the week, they have a column called The Big Read, which is a one-page deep dive into a topic. And today they take a look at Nordic banks who thought they had a lucrative opportunity in the Baltic region. Instead, they became embroiled in a Russian money laundering scandal that has threatens the reputation of several countries. Obviously, Danske Bank and Swedbank are already in trouble, but we have SEB, Nordea, and DNB who controlled almost all the domestic banking in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. These companies, these banks are now embroiled in significant investigations, and it's going to be interesting to see what the U.S. government and other regulators come up with in terms of fines and penalties. So high profits, cheap money, once again, is a recipe or at least a equation for disaster. And finally, in today's topic of the edition, we have the rather stunning case of the Innis Therapeutics founder, Jean Kapoor, who is now in the fate of a jury as his case has gone to trial. And he is the only executive at the company who went to trial. Everybody else pled guilty. He is accused of paying bribes to doctors to push opioid products on patients in high doses, often to patients who didn't need them. The prosecutors claim that the company set up a call center to fabricate false claims for the prescription of medicines. But it came up with a new term, return on bribes, where it tracked the performance of doctors who were bribed to see actually how much they prescribed going forward. So document once again comes through. And now for this April 6th, if you are a Michigan State fan, I hope you are going to watch the Spartans in the semifinals tonight. So a big shout out for Mexico City, go green. Later today on the FCPA Compliance Report, I post several podcasts that are new to the Compliance Podcast Network, modern medium. I hope you will check them out. In it, Paris Fox takes a look at graphic arts and compliance. Finally, if you were interested in the Fresenius FCPA enforcement action, I hope you're following the multi-part blog post series I started this week, and I'll conclude next week. I take a deep dive into it for your benefit. We're developing several new podcasts, which will go live in April and May, so I hope you will check back early and often to the Compliance Podcast Network, the only podcasting network in compliance.